Hello everybody, Happy New Year 2023, we did it. We made it. It's weird, it doesn't feel real, but then nothing does when you're in the Matrix. Oh, the Matrix as in the Matrix the movie? 3D? What a natural segue. Today I am going to be talking about movies and also TV shows that I loved last year and would highly recommend to everybody. Let's dive in. Splash. So, top of my list. Controversial as it may be, I'm gonna say it. Morbius actually wasn't as bad as... Okay, that was a joke. I am kidding. Thought I'd start the new year with a joke. You didn't like that. That's okay. Let's start with a safe bet. Everything Everywhere, All at Once. Very odd title. It definitely took me a while just to be able to say this film's name. Oh, PJ, what film did you go see last night? Oh, I saw everyone's... What? The film definitely does tackle everything everywhere, and it does it all at once. I went into this film knowing absolutely nothing, which I think is a good way to watch most films. I've always really loved martial arts films, all the practical stunts and the fighting, and so this film scratched an itch that I didn't even really know I had. It was like somewhere on my back that I can't even really reach. The visual effects were so enjoyable. It was just fun. It was fun to see them with my eyes. And I was so astounded to discover how small the team was that worked on the visual effects. This was such a watch it with a live audience film. I'm gonna keep it spoiler free. There is a scene with some rocks, and it's quite a pivotal part of the film. And everybody around me was laughing and enjoying it, and then slowly, all together, the audience got a little bit quieter until everybody was basically stunned into silence. And it's like everybody in the room had this unanimous, oh, moment at the same time, and it was so dead quiet you could hear a mouse squeak. And the cinema I go to, it doesn't have mice, it's very well kept, but if it did, you would hear it. Is that even an expression? That's not an expression, is it? If you enjoyed Ratatouille, you're gonna have a good old giggle at the goofs in this film. I will say no more. I'm giggling just thinking about it. Next, let's talk about Top Gun Maverick. Now, I'm really not a cruise head. I find it really hard to watch a Tom Cruise film because all I'm thinking when I'm watching it is, you're a Scientologist, you're a Scientologist, you're a Scientologist. And I find that to be quite distracting. So I was actually fully not gonna see this film until I started hearing people talking about the production and how it got made in the first place and how they were experimenting with cinematography that was just not possible when they made the first Top Gun film 30 odd years ago. They were gonna be strapping cameras to the exterior of jets. They were gonna be putting them in the cockpits of the jets. They were gonna be zooming around in the jets, getting the shots. That drew me in. I was like, okay, fine, let's do it. Saw it in IMAX, I loved it. It was a total crowd pleaser, and I just so happened to be in the crowd. Yeah, the scale of it in IMAX was just so impressive. And I didn't want to do that thing where I was gonna say, oh, I'm not gonna see it. And then later I watch it and it was like, God, I wish I'd seen that in IMAX. So yeah, you win this round, Tom Cruise, you Scientology loving son of a bitch. All right, let's do it. Let's talk about the bats. So last year we finally got, what was it? It was the 600th Batman film? I'm being silly, I'm being hyperbolic. They've not made 600 Batman films. It just feels like they have. I'm not really somebody who gets burnt out when they reboot another film or a franchise because it just exists in the world and you can either watch it or not watch it. Who cares? And actually I was really intrigued how Robert Pattinson particularly was gonna play Batman. A lot of people were really harsh on this casting before the film came out. And I kind of feel like, well, he's an actor. Let him act and let's see what he can do. And quite honestly, I really liked him as Batman. And I actually really liked him as Bruce Wayne. And in fact, I really want to see some more of him as Bruce Wayne. It kind of felt like in the film, he himself as the character was always just dying to be in the Batman costume. So we saw him more as Batman than as Bruce Wayne. And we got to see a younger portrayal of Bruce Wayne where he gets to make mistakes and get battered a lot. And maybe I'm biased, but I do like Robert Pattinson. I think he's a class A jonker. He likes to jonk, and I can respect that. Maybe he should have played the jonker. And so I actually really enjoyed this dark, miserable retelling of Batman's Year 2 story. The next film I want to talk about is called Aftersun, and it was written and directed by Charlotte Wells. This might be one of the first films I've mentioned so far that you may not have seen last year. It didn't get a huge theatrical release. It's an independent film. It's a film about this woman called Sophie who is reflecting on her childhood through these videotapes she took when she was a kid, going on holiday with her single father who is portrayed by Paul Mescal. And I do just want to say that both Paul Mescal and Frankie Corio, who play Callum and Sophie, did an absolutely incredible job at telling these characters very beautiful and very harrowing stories. I'm not the smartest person at dissecting a film and figuring out what exactly it means and what it's trying to say. Sometimes I'll get frustrated when a film goes over my head. But this film I really loved because I understood it perfectly. I really understood why Callum was feeling the way he was feeling and did the things he did. And it made me very sad. I don't know if it made me sad because of the way the character was feeling or because I understood the way the character was feeling. But either way, I would say it was my favorite film I watched last year. Because yes, whilst Top Gun Maverick did make me feel like I was Spider-Man, Aftersun made me think a lot about how you may not truly know everything about somebody from the outside. And this film shows that in quite a raw and uncomfortable way. And it's not often a film makes me think about those things, so... yeah. Hey PJ, you got any other movies on that list you saw last year? Nope. As in Nope by Jordan Peele. Terrible name for a film.
I'm Jordan Peele. I directed the film Nope.
I really appreciated that on the surface you had this freaky deaky horrific alien sci-fi movie, and then there were layers that made you think about race and exploitation of animals and being abused in the entertainment industry. And it was really interesting how that was woven into the story. Annoyingly, as much as I enjoyed this film, I was really warm and cozy in the cinema, and I fell asleep during the climax of the film, the big showdown with the alien. Yeah, I missed that. So I actually need to watch the film again. But from what I did see, I liked it a lot. I have not been able to scrub from my memory the visuals and sounds of the insides of the alien. Jordan Peele, that was sick. I watched Sonic 2, and I want to say this film was very okay. I thought it was better than the first one, but that's not really saying a lot. I thought it was a very good video game movie, and it got me very excited for the upcoming Mario Bros. Animated film. I think the thing with the Sonic movies that isn't quite to my taste is the humor. It doesn't quite work for me. I think the only joke that actually made me laugh was there was a gun in the priest's Bible. If you told me the Sonic movie was gonna have a joke about a gun in a Bible, also I have got other criticisms. There is a scene in which Sonic is drowning, and they decided not to use Sonic's iconic drowning theme. It really makes me question who's behind these films and why they put attention to detail in some places but not others. Anyway, like I said, it was a very okay video game movie. I also do want to mention Turning Red, which was Pixar's film last year about puberty, which was represented with a giant red panda. I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was really beautifully animated. It had a very sweet story and the characters were really fun. And it's the kind of thing I would have loved as a kid because it's talking about things that everybody goes through and everybody experiences. And I'm glad that they're having those discussions and putting them into films in a fun way. There was a lot of parental backlash about it, saying it wasn't appropriate for kids. But I think it seems perfectly appropriate for kids because it's the kind of things that everybody will relate to at some point in their life. We should see it as a positive and a step in the right direction. But that's just my opinion, okay? Don't come for me, Mumsnet. Is that a website? Okay, we've talked about cinema. We've talked about the movies. What did I enjoy on the rectangular black void that is on the wall of my living room? TV. I'm talking about TV. Let's kick things off with Severance, baby. This is exactly my kind of thing. Sci-fi, drama, mystery, intrigue, comedy.
Doing stuff, going places, things.
Weird, miscellaneous, clinical workplace. Basically, the setup is this. There is a futuristic operation you can have called Severance, which allows you to basically separate your consciousness from your work self-consciousness. So when you go into work, you don't have to experience it. You just walk out the doors of the building and you're just you. You don't have to think about the person inside the building. You don't have to be the person inside the building. You just don't have to work. Well, you have to work, but you don't have to work. The severed part of you has to work. It's basically prison and torture. And it's such a fascinating concept for a show. There are just so many layers and so many questions. And every time it gives you an answer, it gives you another couple of questions. Yeah, season 2 can't come soon enough. I will be eagerly awaiting season 2. Bum, bum, ba-da-ba-da-na-na-na-na-na. Succession. Yeah, this show is great. This show is terrific. Season 3 came out last year, and oh my gosh. If you're not watching Succession, you're just not watching. I think this is one of the best shows on TV right now. It's got an incredible cast who play their roles so perfectly. They're so much fun to watch and to hate these characters, but you love to hate them. Season 3 provided us with so many terrific moments, like Cousin Greg threatening to sue Greenpeace.
So yeah, that's how I'm trying to sue Greenpeace.
Logan slowly losing his marbles and thinking there was an invisible cat under his chair.
That is an imaginary cat. Now could you please fuck off?
Kendall's awful 40th birthday party, where he would not stop badgering Connor to take his damn jacket off. This scene that made me crease so hard that no amount of hot steam would ever uncrinkle the crinkled human I have become. Basically any scene with Tom and Greg. After all, you can't make a Tomlet without breaking a few Gregs. And of course, Shiv and Roman finally teaming up with Kendall to take down Logan. Season 4 is coming out this year, so catch up now before it's too late. Or else, as Logan Roy would say, fuck off. Next up, The Traitors. UK edition. I don't normally watch reality TV, but Phil got me hooked on this one. Let me explain. 22 regular people are thrown into a castle. 3 of them are traitors who are tasked with getting rid of the faithfuls, whilst the faithfuls have to figure out who are the traitors, and everybody loses their minds. They turn on each other by day 3. It is absolute carnage, and I have never felt such visceral emotions as the ones I felt whilst watching this show. It is so sickeningly tense, and I love it. The really exciting thing is the psychological experiment, which is who is the traitor. You'll have to watch to find out. Next up, Hot D. House of the Dragon. Firstly, I just want to state that I have never read any of the books, but I am a Game of Thrones enjoyer, except season 8 when it got a bit bad. I wasn't thrilled with how the show ended, and so I thought more Game of Thrones would just never feel right. It would always feel a little bit stinky. But House of the Dragon is a prequel. The acting, the costumes, the production design, the cast, the music. And I feel like Matt Smith had the same thing as Robert Pattinson when people were like, I don't see Matt Smith being in a Game of Thrones series. And the dude has proven that he's a good actor and can certainly be in a Game of Thrones series. What is with people doubting that actors have the ability to act? It hooked me the same way Game of Thrones hooked me, and I very much look forward to more. More, please. Thank you. Finally, probably my favorite TV show of last year, The White Lotus. So the second season came out last year, but I hadn't seen the first yet. So I binged season 1 just before season 2 came out. I loved season 1, and I think I love season 2 even more. I saw it described as a show about the existential crisis that rich white people have created for themselves, and the collateral damage that it wreaks upon everybody else around them. Season 2 leans more into the themes of infidelity and money and sex and how they can be used as almost a power. It is so entertaining and dark and funny and sad. The music is another driving factor of the show. Half of the show is the music dictating the flow of the scenes. So if you're gonna watch anything this year, catch up on The White Lotus.
Please, these gays, they're trying to murder me.
Honorable mentions for TV is The Sopranos. PJ, The Sopranos didn't come out last year. No, I know, but I watched it last year for the first time. The Sopranos is a show that's been on my list for the longest time because I've always been told it's one of the best shows of all time. So anything that is labeled as the best of all time, you have to check it out. So I watched it. I really enjoyed it. Would I say it's the best show of all time? Maybe it is. It's hard to say. That's a very subjective thing anyway. But I really enjoyed the characters. Coming from an Italian family myself, family not in the mafia terms. In fact, my family are Italian. There were a lot of characters who I saw who I thought, oh, they're just like this family member or that family member, which was really weird. Paulie Gualtieri is basically my dad, just without the murdering and the general wrongdoing stuff.
Watch it, Chrissy. What?
So yes, that is a handful of the things I watched last year. There's a ton of other things I watched last year and I enjoyed, but the things I mentioned in this video were probably some of my favorites. So if you're gonna watch anything and you haven't seen anything that I mentioned here today, start with those. You won't be disappointed. Or maybe you will. It's all subjective after all. Well, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. I look forward to more jonks and capers coming soon to a YouTube channel near you. This one. Feel free to hit the like and subscribe button and let me know if you have any recommendations for me. I'm always looking to watch new stuff, so I'd love to hear what you guys have been watching. Let me know. All right, take care, everybody, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.